Why is it that every time the Yankees get somebody really good, they start sucking immediately? How's it going, guys? Tough night for the Yankees last night. Going to be a slightly different format to the pregame show today. I'm going to do a long, extended breakdown of Gerrit Cole's mechanics. I mentioned last night on the postgame show that there was a article on Prospects 365 about some tweaks that Gerrit Cole made to his mechanics. I read through it. It's very technical. I couldn't find the changes in the video. I went through and looked at it a lot this morning. But all I can really see are some other minor differences in his windup between this year and last year. So Gerrit Cole just needs to execute better, but I'll get into the mechanics. He definitely seems more explosive with the Astros, but not to a degree that he can't fix it with the Yankees. So I'll get to that in a minute. Quiet trade deadline for the Yankees yesterday. The price was apparently Deivi Garcia, Clark Schmidt, and Clint Frazier. Two of those three for either Lance Lynn or Mike Clevenger. And I'm glad the Yankees didn't make that move. I wouldn't have made that move either. The Yankees are going to get some reinforcements back in time for the postseason. It's a question of whether or not Judge can be ready and, back to peak performance at that point. I don't know that he will be, because he's not going to have a ton of at-bats to get ready. So, we'll see how that works out. But let's get started with talking about Gerrit Cole, because he is not off to a great start. When we paid him $324 million, we didn't imagine him leading the league in home runs allowed. Now, it's not that uncommon for a star pitcher, especially a power pitcher, to lead the league in home runs because they throw so many fastballs. So guys are going to clock it once in a while. But let's take a look at Gerrit Cole. Okay, so last night there was an article on Prospects 365 talking about Gerrit Cole and some changes he's made to his delivery, and this was published over a month ago. And so I wanted to go through his delivery between the Astros and the Yankees and just kind of take a look at see what's slightly different. You can see these are both breaking balls. The one on the left with the Astros has a lot more break down and in. It's unhittable. With the right, or with the Yankees on the right, it's more of a slight cut. Doesn't quite have that big break. It's off the plate. It does get called for strike 3. But let's take a look at his windup. So we're going to begin with the first step. When you're on the rubber, you step with that left foot. That begins the kinetic chain. So we're starting with his heel on the ground on the left side. You can see already his hands are slightly higher with the Yankees. They look like they're slightly above the belt. With the Astros, they're resting comfortably a little bit lower. Not a huge difference. I don't think that's enough to make a big difference, but every little tweak in that kinetic chain, it's like the butterfly effect. Every little piece affects every other little piece. So let's go through this. So after that first initial step, he gets his weight balanced over his right foot. Right here, he begins the leg swing. And right here's about the peak. You notice the arms and the hands are slightly higher on the right with the Yankees. This could be camera work because the angle is slightly different between these two ballparks, but you can see that it's pretty much the same, but just slight differences with the hands. His foot is maybe pointed a little more downward with the Yankees, and that's what they teach you. They want you to point your toe downward because you're supposed to land on that ball of that front foot. So let's watch his drive towards home plate. Gets really low to the ground. He kind of drags that foot along the ground with the Yankees. With the Astros, it looks like it skims. And then boom. And we're just slightly off. But we began at the same spot. So that tells me that his rhythm is slightly different. It looks like with the Yankees. Watch his rhythm with the Astros. More explosive right here. And that's why he releases it quicker with the Astros. More explosive from this point to this point. With the Yankees, he's kind of gathering himself. His hands are a little higher. I think that could be causing his motion to kind of unfold a little slower. Let's watch the land. Let's watch where his foot lands. You see, with the Astros, he's on the ball with his foot. He's slightly across his body again. That could be camera motion. It looks like it might be actually directly forward, but with the Yankees, same thing. He lands at a slightly more open ankle with the Yankees. Angle, not ankle. And then these are both breaking balls. With the Astros, watch the result. Nasty. It breaks from middle in, which is, you know, lefty's happy spot, to way inside. It hits actually the back line of the left-handed hitter's batter's box. I mean, that is some incredible bend. With the Yankees, it just kind of cuts a little bit. I'm pretty sure these are both the same slider. He maybe threw it a little harder with the Yankees and it became more of a cutter, but the break is totally different. It looks like his arm is kind of dragging behind with the Yankees a bit more. Look at the power position he's in with the Astros. Boom. Right here. Bam. Explosive. With the Yankees, right here, he's already gone. His power is already spent, and his arm is just dragging behind. That is bad for your elbow and for your shoulder. And then throws that pitch too hard, and it cuts off the plate. He did get a called strike 3. But to me, Gerrit Cole is just slightly different, just slightly off from last year. His arm is dragging just a bit. Let's watch the follow-through. Follow-through is pretty much the same. He's got maybe a bit more turn with the Astros, and that's understandable because he was moving faster through the explosive part of the delivery, so there's going to be more energy going forward. I don't know. I'm not an expert on this stuff. I understand pitching, and I've been watching baseball for a long time, but by no means do I understand it as well as Gerrit Cole does, so there might be something intentional that he's doing in there. But to me, on the left, and maybe I'm just imagining this, it looks like he's more explosive because these are more explosive with the Astros. These are lined up pretty much perfectly to this point. He's maybe just a tick behind with the Yankees, just the slightest tick. I began them both with him making contact on the ground on the left, and so maybe he starts a little quicker with the Yankees, and then with the Astros he starts a little later, but he's more explosive. So it looks like his windup is just slightly faster, slightly more explosive with the Astros. So, sorry if this was a weird segment for some of you, but I just kind of wanted to take a look at Gerrit Cole and see if there's anything on here that we can identify as a huge problem. I don't see any major problems. It just looks like he needs to be a little bit more explosive in that delivery with the Yankees. Hey guys, help support the podcast by buying swag from my store. Link is in the description.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It helps YouTube suggest this channel to other Yankees fans.